Something else maybe on the side, I'm a cat mom.
You're a cat mom.
I'm a cat mom.
Because when we are hiring, in our minds we're like, I hope this is the candidate, right? So even when you're coming in, you're already at 100 with us.
Do HRs check LinkedIn?
Having referees information in your CV could also land you into trouble.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna reverse role play with them. We are gonna be the hiring managers, and they're gonna be answering the question that they usually ask. That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun. Yeah.
GeoHabari Podcast.
All right. Okay. Welcome back again. Today we're going to be doing something a little dangerous. But before that, let me introduce myself. I am Linus and AnnStella, your usual host of the Young Professional segment. And in studio today are HRs. I know. Just before we proceed today, we'll be debunking a lot of myths. Like HRs, usually your friend. Do they usually feel sorry when they send that email that we apologize, we deeply regret, and many other questions? So yeah, we will be entering the hiring room, where for some and many young professionals, it's where CVs either turn into careers or they disappear forever, not to even get an email or response from them. But yeah, we're hoping this is going to be fun. And today, joining me in the studio, I'd like them to introduce themselves, please.
You wanna go first?
Yeah, we can start from the side. Yeah.
All right. I'm Diana, and I am a people and culture champion. I don't like using HR, so I think HR is, I don't know, there's a lot of myth behind HR. So I'd like to go by people and culture, and I have been doing this for about 8 years, end-to-end HR, as you call it, and I'm also a co-founder for Talent Partners. Yes.
Awesome.
Right, to guess I'm next.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so I'm Kate, and let me just use the HR word. I'm a HR and a talent acquisition professional for about 4 years now. And just as Diana has mentioned, I've worked closely with startups, founders and CEOs who are looking to create foundations for HR, look for talent. And together with Diana, we have founded Talent Partners, which actually is supposed to be 3 of us. So our founder is Tess. I hope, Tess, you can see this video. So we funded Talent Partners because actually we saw there's a gap in startups having problems with looking for talent. So we definitely want to help not just co-founders and CEOs to find talent, but at the same time we also want to help professionals or people who are looking to get into their careers and basically just find jobs for them, in short. Yeah. Something else maybe on the side, I'm a cat mom.
You're a cat mom.
I'm a cat mom.
How many?
2.
Wow. And yeah, finally, my guest co-host for the day.
I'm AnnStella Njane. I'm a dramatic engineer, and I'm also the founder of GeoSisters Hub. Hi to my team too. Ntasalimia pia. And also, I'm here for this exciting conversation to be able to learn from you as part of the generation that is in the hiring system right now. Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Okay, now let us first start with this question. The first and foremost, what is the greatest myths that you guys have heard about this profession, maybe HRs or the talent seekers, that you feel like as though is highly misguided?
HR is not your friend. HR are bad people. What else?
They'll throw you under the bus.
Yeah.
Any defense to any of that? Because I feel like as though, there could be actually, but we need to debunk this.
Yeah. I don't think HRs are bad people.
Mm-hmm.
We are employed by the same employer who has basically employed the customer success, the software engineer. Some parts of our jobs are not that good to do.
Such as? Let's give examples. Please reference your work.
Some parts of our jobs, like if a manager, I think also actually one of the myths that I'd want to debunk is that HRs do the firing. I do not think we do the firing, because it gets from the manager, right? So the manager decides this and this person probably are not aligning with the team, or the performance is not as good, or there is a restructuring. Like there's a lot that goes on behind, deciding person A is getting, say, fired. So the HR is just coming in as an advisory to like advise and say, okay, these are the options that we have. Let's go with this, or can we take this and these actions? So it doesn't really come from HR. And also the HR is there to promote fairness for both sides, right? Like for the employer and for the employee. The fairness, the employer might, like the verdict of the fairness might not favor the employer, or sometimes it might not favor the employee. You get? So the HR is there to be like the person that basically, like the liaison, or the person who brings in fairness into all these
like
processes.
a bridge in between.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what's the most difficult part of it?
I think it's having conversations with employees when it comes to, so let's say, let me just use an example. Somebody is facing issues with performance. I think that is a lot of conversations that usually go on around HR. And the management is like, no, we can't really put this person in the team anymore. So you have to speak on behalf of that employee. You have to come up with facts, give them, they've been having issues with performance, but it could be because of ABCD. It could be because maybe the manager didn't support them efficiently. It could be they're maybe facing some personal issues. So it's usually a conversation with the management and telling them before firing them, why not find out what could be the issue with this person first. Let's debunk what's actually happening with them first before terminating them. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I don't know, Stella. I feel like as though before we proceed, because I'm yet now to start diving into this.
Yeah.
Anything from your side? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there are a few myths that I know of, including the LinkedIn one. I'm not sure about it. Do HRs check LinkedIn, or is it
The profiles?
Yeah.
Like
Do
what
they
you've been
really
doing.
check it, or do we just put it on there to just show that you're on LinkedIn and you've been doing a few things and there are a few pictures?
Well, I would say LinkedIn is part of you selling yourself.
Okay.
So even when we're doing recruitment, LinkedIn is the first place we usually look at. Of course, you've sent your CV first. We want to see, because LinkedIn also it's like a platform where you showcase other things that you've been doing apart from what's on your resume or your CV.
Okay.
So we look at your LinkedIn, we look at the volunteers you've been doing, any projects that you've been undertaking, and at the same time, have you also been doing some personal development for yourself, upskilling, taking courses, because also LinkedIn gives you that option of showing your educational
skills,
background, any skills that you've learned. So I'd say it's a major point for HR and recruiters to check if you've been active on social media.
That's interesting.
I think it's also like a very good platform for headhunting.
Yes.
Like if I'm looking for talent and I don't know where to start, LinkedIn will be the first place I look at. But also I can see how in other roles, LinkedIn might not be that significant. Not necessarily roles, but so like in certain situations, like I have someone who has been referred to me, so I probably do not need to check their LinkedIn. Like I can check from the person who referred them to me. I can check through their previous companies. So maybe not all the time, not all situations require for us to check LinkedIn, but it's important that you have like your LinkedIn up to date and
Active,
ready,
yes.
in case it's needed.
Yeah.
Actually, there's something that we brought. Allow me now to shift. I won't be calling you HR. I remember what you said. I'll be calling you talent acquisition managers. All right. There's this other part that I usually wonder. There's something you mentioned about checking the LinkedIn to see what someone has been active about. Usually when you are asked the question, tell us about yourself, we'll be getting there in a moment. Do they usually care something else that you've done outside the profession? Like you're a fan, let's say you're a cat mother, if you mention something like that, or maybe you hate avocados, like I should. And maybe
Avocados.
that is a conversation we're gonna have outside the session, not right now.
For you.
No, come on. It's just like blended grass. You need to agree that. Okay. I know. Let's meet at the parking lot after this. We can fight. But until then, let's. Okay. So, do they usually care about these other aspects about yourself as an individual, or are they usually majorly concerned about your qualifications, the experience that you've had, and all this?
Yeah, it's not actually limited to you just being, we don't want to see you just as a professional. So even part of telling us about yourself is we also expect to hear, you're not just somebody who is on a 9 to 5 all the time, every time. So we want to also see or hear, what do you do when you free time? I participate in webinars, I volunteer into probably a local children's home, just something that you're doing outside of work. It's also important because it's you're not just it's not always about professionalism. You can always use storytelling as part of your introduction. Like I'm a person in HR. This is what I've been doing for the last of 4 years, but at the same time I have 2 cats. They are very stubborn. They keep me on my toes. That is something that also keeps the conversation going with between you and the person you're talking to, either it's the recruiter or the hiring manager. Yeah. So it's very important also to just have that aspect.
Oh, okay. But feel free to hop in whenever you want to contribute on any of this. But now let's now get into the serious bit of it. When someone walks into a hiring room, what is the first thing you're looking for? Like just from the presentation, the confidence they're walking in, do they need to ask for permission to sit down? Do they just need to go sit down and start talking, or do they need to wait for you guys to talk? Like, what is usually the thing that people are looking for? Talent acquisition managers are looking for.
That's an interesting question, especially with the, if you need to wait to be offered a seat, if you need to show confidence. I think it's dependent on the person who's interviewing you, because there's no one size fits all. But I like to tell people, just like observe basic etiquette, like if you're getting into a room, you can't ask to sit, just try to assess the panel, but also don't be very, uptight. Yeah, like don't be very, because it shows, like the moment someone walks into a room, I can already tell, like this person is confident, this person is very uptight, this person akona woga kidogo. Like just be yourself. Like don't overthink it. Get into a room, just being yourself, because I think what helps with just being yourself is also understanding you're also interviewing to join our company. Like it's not just one way. And also the fact that you came in for the interview, it means that you're already qualified, right? Like you're there because we looked at your CV. We probably did a quick check and we realized you're qualified. So, just come in and tell us about yourself. And also, I think something else that we need to mention is that as recruiters or talent acquisition, as people who do that job, we are also on our end, we're usually like very much hoping you're the right candidate, right? So with that in mind, like I think that should give you like some confidence, because when we are hiring, in our minds we're like, I hope this is the candidate, right? So even when you're coming in, you're already at 100 with us. So you just need to basically just show us you're the person for the job, and you'll be good to go. Like you
earn those points up to 100.
Yes, that you're already. Yes, exactly. And the fact that you're there, it means you're already qualified, and we want you to be the person for the job.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, that's really interesting. So that you can maybe, people don't need to feel nervous about the fact that these people are looking to identify something that I shouldn't be part of the team. But just you trying to confirm that actually I'm the right candidate for this job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I can also add with what Diana has said, that it's a two-way thing. You're coming to interview, and me as a candidate, I'm also interviewing you guys. So it should also give you confidence that I'm not just trying to pitch myself to show them that I'm fit for this job, but I also want to know what their culture looks like. Before I join, I also need to assess you guys if this is the right place for me to thrive. If this is the right place for me to grow my career. So it's a two-way thing.
Oh, so someone can actually ask that question?
Yes.
Oh.
That's interesting.
You can.
I'll be trying that.
You can. Yeah. I think it's part of conversations that we'll have, but I can also mention it that when you're asked if for example, I'm a candidate and I'm asked, do you have any questions for us? So that's now a chance for you to ask them what their culture looks like. Maybe talk about expectation. What do you expect for me to do in the next 2 months, 3 months? It's also a chance for you to ask and just understand how the company is.
I don't know. I think the next interview I'll probably try to be corny. Maybe sassy or
You
something
should
like
actually.
that.
You ask the questions first
It's-
before they get there.
Oh, it's recommended. I've never known
Yeah,
that.
because how would I put it? Like, I find, because even like with my experience, the candidates that have stood out are like the candidates who, like ask me a question I've never been asked before. They probably just pulled a joke. They did something, because you see, at the end of the day, we are also human. Like, when we're not looking for someone who is,
Checking all the
because by the fact that you're there,
Yeah.
and we already saw your CV, it means you already have the technical skills.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to match is, are you a culture fit? Can you fit well in our team? Do you have certain soft skills? So we are trying to identify how well we can place you in the team. We are not trying to identify, like your technical skills. We are trying to identify that, but we also already have evidence that you're good at that. So we're also trying to get these other things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Now we're gonna proceed forward to this other part of the CV. What is the first thing that really catches your eye with a CV? Because I've been hearing a lot of complaints. There's really the ATS nowadays, that is where AI tracks the entire CV and the qualifications. And most of the time, the CVs don't end up getting to the human hiring team.
That's true.
What are some of the mistakes you feel like other people usually make in the CVs that make this AI maybe disqualify them before they even go any further?
Okay. So I think for me, most of the common CVs I've seen is the one where people still state their marital status. Somebody writes
Like divorced,
yeah,
single,
married. Yeah, and then they also put like their ID number, their nationality, like those are things that are very so 20th century. Like those are not things that we usually look at.
Yeah.
And I would also recommend that candidates don't put that anymore. Like all those are not really necessary. We want to see what really are you trying to show us as a candidate. So having the marital status there, showing that hobbies are things you can also talk to the interviewers during part of the interviews. So you don't need to put that there. Then what else? Referees, putting references on your CV at the same time. I think given that you're also in the era of data privacy, having referees information in your CV could also land you into trouble, because somebody might contact that referee, not you knowing, and it could breach privacy. Yeah. So it's, those are some of the things I'd say I've seen. And also funny Gmail names, usernames. That is also something else that really shows me as a recruiter.
At Gmail.
Pretty good. Cool guy, 254,
Does that stand out, or is it a turn off?
It's a turn off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
That's an ink. Okay.
yeah. Just try to, a CV or resume is a professional portfolio for yourself. So have everything professionally detailed. Your email, if it's email, have first name and last name. Like kate.njeri@gmail.com. That's a already that's a good email. And then what else am I missing? Also putting your contacts, check and recheck. Sometimes you usually call candidates and then you hear, this is a pharmacy, what do you mean? This is not the person's name, like they don't put right numbers. So also attention to details to what you put on your CV is also important. Check your number, check your email. If you have maybe an online portfolio you like to showcase your work, check if that link is actually working, like LinkedIn. Yeah.
I think on top of what Kate has mentioned, it's important to also customize your CV for the role you're applying for. What we see mostly is, I think the job seekers mostly have one CV which they use to apply to, like many jobs.
Yeah.
I can understand why, because I know also it's very draining to keep redoing your CV for every new job, but it's important that you customize, because you see, like also this ATS is filtering out your CV based on a certain job description that it has been fed with. So if your CV is not customized for the role, it will not pass. I think there's that. And then also I find it's also important to have your CV very clear and concise. It doesn't have to be a long CV, especially for like young professionals who are our audience, I assume. Yes, for young professionals, it's very important to like keep it very, very clear. Just have it very short, because I think that there is a research that was done, and interviewers or recruiters take about 5 seconds looking through one CV. So you need to, like, your CV needs to be very catchy for me too. Like when I look at it within 5 seconds, I can identify, okay, this person is qualified. So there needs to be it doesn't have to be long. Just be very clear, be concise, and address or mention just whatever is relevant for the role you're applying for.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think still, as you're breaking down some of the mistakes that are in CVs, is we usually see a lot of paragraphs, especially when somebody is talking about their professional summary. So somebody talks about, this, I am like 2 years of experience. This is what I can do for the company. But ideally, we just want to see in a nutshell, in a professional summary, who you are before looking at your career history. You want to see, in short, what are you looking at? What are you bringing to the table? So having like 10 lines or sentences into a career objective is not really advisable. Just have something short, well summarized, and at the same time be very clear. If you're looking for a remote environment, show that you have worked in a remote environment. Show employers that you have worked with international companies. You can also even mention, like you're tech savvy. You've done some, projects using tech tools like Notion, AI. Given AI is actually the talk of town nowadays, so even show employers that you can use these kind of tools. But basically, your career objective should be short and sweet before I move further into your work history, for me now to determine if you're somebody I can talk to. Yeah.
I think while Kate was talking, I had like 2 things come up. For also, like, especially if you're looking for your first job, you might not have had like any first formal job, but you must have done some volunteer. Like you helped your church build a website, or you volunteered for, I don't know, these organizations in campus. So it's you can also customize your experience for the volunteer programs to match with what the first role is.
So even the
looking for.
nitty-gritty things matter a lot. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially if it's your first job, because you do not have like a formal job you've done before. So you can use the volunteer roles that you've held. Even like things you've done in campus. Just you can I'm sure you can find like something that's volunteer that can add up to your experience. However little it is, just find a way to communicate that you have done it and how it aligns to the job description or to the role that you're applying for.
Yeah.
And also something else, with the age of AI, we have a lot of candidates sending AI CVs, generated CVs.
How do you tell the difference though? How can you tell?
There are, so you see, like right now, I'd use an example, right? So let's say, for example, AI knows that for a CV to be like a perfect CV, it needs to show me the role that you did or the task that you did, the outcome, and quantify that. So you'll find if like a CV is AI generated, like I can tell it, I maintained project X, and then this was the outcome, and then 45% of XX was achieved. Like, it's important to mention those, but I think if it applies to all your roles, then it becomes like something that's very AI generated. And I don't know how to capture that very well, because I know but let's just say I can tell when a CV is AI generated.
So does it mean that we
even
shouldn't make?
No, you should,
Yeah.
but do not use AI 100%.
Okay,
Like, just
okay.
make whatever experience you have, just ask it to like make it better. Use AI to advance whatever you already have.
To critique it, as we said, like a way of
Tweak it.
to tweak it as well.
Yeah.
I also feel like AI generated CVs based on the ones that have maybe generated maybe. And they have a lot of they have a lot of adjectives, like they emphasize a lot of adjectives. For example, they explain a role so much more than a normal person would have written. So you can clearly see that the one was AI and this one is not.
Yeah. And I think something else is that AI generated CV could get you the interview, but
Yes.
the interviewer will actually ask you questions that would probably put some red flags on yourself. So they can,
What sort of questions though?
So, for example, you quantitate your responsibilities and said, like I improved probably an automation process by 10%, where users got, the user interface was improved. User interface was a little bit of a problem, so I improved the interface, which actually we saw an improvement in feedback from our users by 10%. So I will ask them, what kind of tools did you use to, get to your 10%? And then that's where you can get the candidate saying, probably eating some words because they don't know what to say. That's how you can actually tell that somebody just, they used maybe an AI or they customized the CV in this way, but there's not actually a way they're demonstrating how they got into that, number.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So I think right now, as recruiters, that's something we are really struggling with. Because right now, 90% of CVs are perfect. If I have like, say, like 100 applications, like 90% of those are good CVs.
Yes.
So see, like sometimes you really can't tell if this person actually has the experience just by looking at the CV. Because like right now AI has refined these things. So how we are trying to navigate that right now is we are looking for consistency. So just as Kate mentioned, right now we are moving towards practical questions. In the sense that when I'm asking questions, I am trying to establish that the experience that you have on your CV is actually the experience that you have, and I'll ask like a couple of questions checking for consistency. Because if your CV is very 100%, it's very good. But at some point, if you've not really done the job, I can tell, because you will not be consistent with your answers. So that's why even right now, if I don't know if any one of you has done any interviews recently, but there's a lot of, give me an example, just for us to identify, is this actually true? Because examples will tell us exactly what happened.
But now, if 100% are perfect, where does the shortlisting then happen? Like, why shortlist candidates if everything is perfect? Because I've been in these interviews where there are several stages, like 4 of them. First, you send your CV. Then secondly, they shortlist you for a technical interview. The next, you meet probably the the HR. The next you perhaps meet the executive team. Then maybe you're gonna meet, I don't know, the cut to the executive team. Like there's so many stages nowadays when it comes. And there's all this penalty periods and everything. So how do you guys, like, what is the one thing that's gonna stand out if 100% of the CVs are perfect, as you put it? What is the one thing that's gonna stand up for a candidate to proceed to the next level? Then, like, what are the things that usually make some of the CVs, get discarded or disregarded before proceeding to the next stages then? Or do you usually just carry all the candidates forward to the next stage?
No, I don't think that will be sustainable.
Sustainable.
But so we use things like the ATS. So the ATS will be able to filter out in the event where we don't have an ATS, because we understand the company culture. So I can be able to tell probably this CV has done a lot of corporate and I am looking for startup experience, so I can filter out using that, or vice versa. So with different roles and with different organizations, so all the CVs might have the technical skills that we're looking for, but we also have like filters to just help us like search, say this CV is very startup, I am looking for corporate, or maybe I work for a bank and I'm looking for only CVs for profiles that have been in the bank space. So there is like different filters that are put for different roles. Yeah.
Wow. Thanks for that. Stella, you had mentioned that you had questions. Yes. Before we can now dive in, because we are yet now to start reviewing a CV here that we have drafted. And then we're going to reverse role play with them. Okay. We are going to be the hiring managers, and they're going to be answering the questions that they usually ask. That's going to be fun. Please,
I have a question on the length of the CVs. You talked about making it short, very short and clear to the point. But in this era, especially in our spaces, we have people who are working on projects now and then. I'd say maybe people in the software techies, you have several projects. Maybe you have worked on 10 in the last 1 year. You have not worked in an office yet. So I'd feel like for this role, I want to mention the 10. Now, at that point, you have a CV that is 5 pages long, yet they mention that for an entry-level job, they only want 1 page. And you can clearly see with this 1 page, will not be picked. With the 4 pages, 5 pages will be picked. So in this case, what is the right thing to do? To write everything, or just short and sweet, and then you pray to the gods above?
Simple is always better, honestly. Because again, this person is looking at very many CVs, right? So what we want to achieve is we want to sell ourselves with as little time as possible. Because this person has like lots of CV they're looking at, and I want them to like identify my CV as one of the CVs they want to push forward. So I'd say try to keep it short. You can highlight all the 10, but only highlight whatever is relevant for the role that you're applying for. Okay. So you don't with the 10, you don't have to like express or write everything that you did. Like you can just highlight the tasks that are very key to the particular role that you're applying for.
Okay. And what happens when you find a CV that has a lot of color? Just asking, I needed to know. People put in a lot of colors and to just highlight things. Bold, italics, one that has a lot of character. Is it unique for you, or does it look like unprofessional?
I feel like those kind of CVs are usually sieved out by ATS before it even reaches to us as recruiters, because it kind of throws off the ATS with those colors. So if you put those colors, sometimes the ATS, yes, of course you have the right profile, but it could throw off the ATS in terms of the boldness or the colors that you put on the CV. So it kind of would make you get rejected before it even gets into the to the recruiter's desk. So my advice would be just have a simple, plain resume. If it's bold colors, use them on your name. If it's on your email and phone number, use the bold colors, but do not exaggerate the colors. Even putting pictures sometimes also it's not really encouraged. But I know different industries are different with their CVs, especially with hospitalities. Hospitality industry would require you to have a face on your CV, but for for things like technical roles, operations, admin roles, we don't really need to see your face. Just have something simple. And right now, I think we have so many resources in the internet where you can actually see what a sample CV looks like, what recruiters are actually looking for in terms of their CV. So you can even use those templates to actually customize your CV. So you don't really have to, struggle so much as we used to before. You have to go to the cyber or pay somebody to, revamp your CV. You can actually find these templates online, use them to your advantage, basically. Just, yeah.
Oh, excellent. Now, onto this bit. I'd like it to be as practical as possible. You have received that CV. You guys never saw this CV, right? I came with it today. I just wanted to make it as practical as possible.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if I should give you a couple of 1 minute to maybe brush through it.
Okay.
And maybe see if there are a couple of mistakes that you can identify about that CV.
I've already even seen one.
You've already seen one already. Wow. That already tells from your professional experience. All right. I think this is the one that will also be projected on the screen.
Yeah.
So that the viewers can also see on it.
Okay.
Yeah. So just go through it and maybe tell us what is it that you think is an ick for you guys.
Eek.
All right.
Straight to the trash.
Yeah. I think in the meantime, we'll just be prepping to ask the questions about the hiring room.
I think for me, I've seen the first thing that I've noticed is the email. So this person has stated their email as coolgeoguy254@gmail.com. So I actually first just laugh at the email,
Right.
but I would expect to see because I don't know, I want to see their email, with first name and last name format. That's the most encouraged format of emails that are, looked at. Then what else? Then I'm also seeing on the career objective, this person just wrote, obtain a challenging position in a reputable organization where I can utilize my skills and experience while furthering my personal and professional growth. So this one does not really tell me, what this person has really done in their work experience, or basically in short, their history of their career, what they have actually done. So it feels generic. It doesn't really tell me anything about you. Given, this is overall, it's somebody who is in the GIS space. And I would like to see, what the mention of GIS in that, career objective. I want to see, what kind of projects you've, done. If it's a remote job, also mention, in my career objective, just say, worked with remote settings across Africa, US, and, let's say Middle East markets. I would say those are a few things I've seen. I'll let Diana mention any other that she's seen as well.
I don't know if we still use career objective. I think these days it's like professional summary.
Yeah.
Professional summary.
Yes.
And what should go there?
It's basically a short form. A short version of who you are, who you are as a professional. You can just say, a GIS professional with 2 years of experience working with systems, infrastructures, and startups to scale up businesses, something like that.
Oh, it's something as simple
Just
and
yes,
punchy.
very
something
simple.
Okay.
I'd say go even further for the professional summary, depending on the job that you're applying for. Go further and actually just highlight who you are and how relevant your skills are to this particular job, right?
Okay.
While also selling or telling whoever is looking at your CV who you are, also highlight why you're the best candidate for this role.
Yeah.
Something else I have identified is the work experience, the roles. So the CV has basically described what the person, it has not described what the person was doing, basically. Because I was responsible for doing GIS tasks.
What kind of
tasks?
GIS?
Yeah. I helped with making maps. Because also, it highlights the job description, but no, it highlights your tasks, but it doesn't tell us the outcome of these tasks. So it's important that when I'm looking for you at your CV, I'm able to tell you did X project and this was the outcome of the project.
Okay.
Yes. So like sell an outcome, not the effort. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah. Like
So the outcome of the skill.
Yes.
Yeah.
So instead of describing like I helped making maps, like try looking at it from an outcome point of view. Like I did maps for Project X, which helped us with doing this and this and this. Yes, like sell the outcome instead of like the effort. And also try to quantify exactly what you did so that we know this is actually true. What else? Yeah, the references, they're not necessary.
Hobbies and interests as well.
Yes, and hobbies and
Those
interests.
ones are also not necessary.
Hobbies and not necessary.
No.
They're not necessary.
But then, what is the funniest or wildest thing you ever seen on a CV? How crazy is something completely out of place that you never expected? Any?
No, for not on a CV, but on a job application.
Job application?
Yes, someone applied on behalf of their husband.
That's funny. That's hilarious. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So, right. Thanks so much for that breakdown. Next thing, I think we're now proceeding to the fun part of this. Many people have actually been wanting this part of this particular episode, and that's why I feel like as though it's of great importance that we bring it on board, where we will be reverse role playing. Okay, we will be the hiring managers, the HRs, and you will be the candidates in this. So yeah, shall we?
This is the.
You ready? You nervous?
This
Anxious?
is usually the most
ready?
difficult part.
But then you've also been on the other side.
Answering the
You've also
questions
been
or asking someone the
Yes.
question?
Answering.
Answering the question.
Oh, you've been on the other side of the receiving end as
I've
well.
also been on the other side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. First and foremost, thank you so much for coming for this interview. We'll just proceed. Please tell us about yourself.
Right, sure. I'm Kate, and I'm a HR and talent acquisition specialist with over 4 years working closely with startups, co-founders, and CEOs to scale up their businesses through people operations, talent acquisitions, handling end-to-end recruitment processes, and at the same time laying out HR foundations.
Wow. By the way, are there things that you've picked that you feel like as though they need to go in that particular statement? Because I feel like as though she's had it in such a short while, but everything else was perfect.
Yeah.
Were you prepping for this?
No.
How many times have you been looking in the mirror?
It comes out naturally.
Naturally. No way. That's
We've been
a
on
lie.
the other side.
Oh, okay. So
We've
you've
been on the other side.
you-
Yeah.
You have experience
We
on
have
this other
experience,
side.
because I've also been a candidate. So
What are the things that you've probably picked from a response that you feel like as though they always need to go into that particular statement when someone asks to tell me about yourself?
So she has highlighted her years of experience. She has highlighted the kind of, so she is a HR, but she has also like narrowed it down to the kind of space she has been working in. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right. Fellow HR, do you want to go next?
Should I ask her?
you can ask her.
You-
She's also a
ask her
candidate.
next. So we need to grind them equally.
Okay. For the roles that you've just stated, how do you think it will contribute to our company?
All right. So I have stated that I worked with the startup space. So by me being in the startup space, I have experienced like a fast-paced environment. And with that fast-paced environment, I've been able to acquire certain skills like flexibility. I am able to adapt quickly to change. And I believe with those two skills, I am able to quickly, like adapt to any role that I am given. And I am able to give my very best. And in the case or in the event where I do not know or do not have like 100% knowledge of what is going on, I also have the ability to learn quickly because I am able to adapt quickly.
I feel like as though you guys practice this. We need to establish that. Let's get that out of the way. There's no way.
Someone should
You'll
break
be
that
a bus
down
more
and
Kenya.
use that.
We'll go probably have this snippet out so that people can jot down all these things. All right.
Yeah.
What are the things that she's mentioned that you feel like as though they also need to go into that particular answer of the question?
She's mentioned that she's somebody, actually when we interview candidates, we also want to hear that they are not only limited to what they have done as professionals, but they are open to growth. So she's also mentioned that she's somebody who is coachable. In short, she's somebody who can quickly adapt into environments, because I also want to hand over to the hiring manager, not for them to have a difficult time to, train this person, because there's also aspects of having this candidate catch up to speed in terms of work. So there's limited time for training. So we're also looking for somebody who is fast in adapting, fast learner, somebody who can collaborate well within a team. Because I also want to know, can I work with you from 9 to 5? Can I work with you for those 8 hours without having any troubles, any issues? So that's what I've assessed from what Diana has mentioned.
Oh.
Yeah, a great team player, can grow, adapt.
You two people know each other too much. Don't know each other too much. Yeah, so next question. I usually like first getting into that bravado first so that I can get to that experience. So, why this company? Are you guys usually serious when asking the questions, or you really just smile?
Well, it's good to give candidates a settling environment.
Yeah,
don't
right.
intimidate
just be
them
nice.
so
All right.
much.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
why this company?
I did my research about the company, and I saw that you guys had troubles with, reporting and, creating dashboards. And in my 4 years of experience, I have worked with exactly the same problems. I have created reports. With my upskilling, where I took data analytics and, Power BI, I was able to create dashboards for the HR team, and also just building up simple systems for HR to export reports to easily, make decisions. So the reason as to why I want to join the company is I see the gap, and I would like to help fill that gap.
Mm-hmm.
Clock it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that response. It's almost perfect. I picked the fact that she identified the problem that we're trying to solve by hiring for this role. So it's very like when you're applying, you need to have in mind the kind of problem these people are trying to solve.
Right.
Yes. So
So you need to fit yourself perfectly in there.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I like that she like her profile, or she sold her profile to fit exactly as someone who can solve the problem that the company is trying to solve.
Gotcha.
Because her answer was not generic in the sense that I am looking for growth. I am
So those
looking
are
for
generic
somewhere I
answers.
can grow.
What else can we say? Anyway,
Like your answers have to be aligned with the role that you're applying for.
Yeah.
So I like
Yeah.
that she fit that perfectly.
I think I can add something. Is also candidates need to research about the company before getting into an interview, because you can use that to your advantage, right? Because companies also post some of the problems they are facing. It can be maybe the CEO or somebody maybe from a different team, and you saw that problem and you're like, yeah, this is something I can do for them. So you can use it to your advantage, find out about the company. You can even point out maybe an article you saw that the CEO wrote. It gives the HR or the interviewer they feel that you really are genuine about the role, and at the same time you are genuine about joining this company. So it's not that you're just interviewing for the sake of interviewing, in short.
Yes.
Yeah. So do your research, check about the company, look at the mission, the vision, what are they, because you also, even when interviewing candidates, you look at values. Are you somebody who can embody our values? So you can also speak about their values during the interview.
During that question.
Yeah. I remembered her question on LinkedIn and whether it's important to update it.
Oh, the one for Stella.
Yes. So in line with what Kate has said about researching about the company, you can also go a step further and try talking to someone in the company.
Right.
I thought that was talking. It's legal. You're supposed to do it.
You can do it.
You can just tell them I'm
just don't be
interviewing.
offensive. Have your present your case well.
Yeah.
Try to find someone from within the company. Just ask them about the role. try see if they can give you audience to talk to them. So it's also like a very good platform or channel to just identify the kind of problems and what kind of company this company is.
But just don't go like as if you're trying to fish out information. You can just be genuine and tell them that I'm interviewing for this role at your company and I'm just interested to see what you guys are doing. I noticed ABCD and I'd just like to know more about it. Are you in a position maybe to share more information about what I'm looking for, and that could give you an advantage compared to the other candidates.
Yeah. And if they're not okay, that's okay. Don't take it personally. Yeah.
I've actually seen also that thing happen online as well. Like whenever you're interviewing for certain, especially companies that are renowned, like the World Food Program or maybe Sustainier or Voluntas, you can just pop in and ask, I'm in my second stage of the interview. What do I need to know about this? Then you'll get the people who have commented already about that stage of interview as well. Like the things that you need as well. So this is the part whereby, Stella, off to you now.
Yeah, so Miss Dana, what are your expectations for this company?
All right. So I have looked at the job description, and I do believe that my skills align very well with the kind of person you're looking for, because I have experience doing it. Some of the expectations I have for the company is that I would expect to have like a very open environment where I am able to identify or demonstrate my skills well. I am able to work openly with people. I also like collaborating. So I would enjoy just working with different teams to find solutions to find solutions for the problems that we're trying to solve. As something else, as an expectation, I would say I am very willing and flexible to also hear from your end as the hiring manager, in the sense of what you expect from my end, just so that we can align well. And, like I can tell you my expectations. I mean, you can tell me your expectations, and then we can also align with the kind of expectations that I have.
I like how you took the ball and dropped it back to you. You can tell me about the expectations. Back to you. Back in the studio. Yeah. What do you think about that?
That's a very good answer, because she's just basically told me that she is looking for somewhere that she can be able to collaborate with other team members. So it shows me she's not somebody who can work alone, but somebody who can work with other teams. And at the same time, she's also mentioned something to do with open environment where she can grow her skills, she can grow her career, which is also something, as a recruiter, I'm looking for somebody who is also looking to grow. So this is also another plus. They're not just limited to their experience, or they're just not limited to their professional background, but, they're willing to learn, they're willing to grow into their skills. So definitely a good answer to move them forward.
Gotcha. Right.
I think while we're also answering these questions, like the answers should not be generic. Someone listening or watching should not really take the answers just as they are. The answers should be particular. The answers should be particular to the company you're applying for, right?
Yeah.
So just be a natural and answer based on the kind of job description you have, probably the vibe that you've noticed with the team interviewing you. Like, there's a lot that you have to pick for you to be able to answer the questions.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. I'll proceed to the next question. This is from our most recent interview, and this is how they asked it. We do like our interviewers being honest with us, because we also are in a limited fund capacity. So tell us about your salary expectations. Ooh. It's like they're trying to box you first to understand that we don't have the money. Yeah.
Wow. I like that question, because I could say I am very much open to what the company is currently operating in terms of their budget. And I'm not just, looking at aspects of salaries, but at the same time, I want somewhere that I can be able to grow myself.
That's
grow
a lie.
my profit.
We're looking at aspect of salary, but anyway, please go on. Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah. So it's not just about the salary, but I'm okay, with somewhere I can be able to express myself well, get feedback properly from my manager and my colleagues, and where I can collaborate closely with my team members, but I'm generally open to what the budget looks like for the role.
Oh, okay. So you don't mention the exact figure.
You can mention, you can say you're okay with the range. You can even throw it back and say, I'd like to hear what the budget is for the role. Yeah.
Right.
So what's the budget for the role?
Tell us.
Sorry, that wasn't on my script. I was able to answer. Yeah.
But you can actually give. It's okay if they throw it back at you and say, I'm open to hear what the range is. You can give them a range. Can tell them if it's an intern position. You can tell them between 25 to 30 or 30 to 40, depending on experience. And then they'll say, okay, that aligns with me. I'm okay with the budget. Yeah. So it's a two-way thing. They can be straightforward. If just say. Some even say the expectations, actually. If you ask me, say, maybe if it's a senior role, say my budget, it's 250K. And then you as a recruiter will say, that's quite a bit above our budget. Is it negotiable? And then you're like, yeah, it is. I'm okay with negotiating it. It's just like you're saying, it's like a fixed range that I'm expecting, but just show them you're, of course, open to discussing.
To negotiating.
To negotiate, because you're also trying to support your experience, not just negotiating about your salary, but you're negotiating because based on your experience, but based on what skills you're bringing to the table. So it's not just saying I'm okay with 250 or I'm sticking to that, but supporting as to why you want that money.
Yeah, clearly I made a mistake there. Yeah. What do you think?
So I like that she said she is flexible in the sense that she is okay with the budget that you have on your end, because most times, like in this particular situation, the employer has the upper hand because they have the information. So I like that she didn't mention the figure up front. So I'd say try as much as possible to not mention. But if you have to, just also at the back of your mind, conduct some sort of research to see the kind of range that this company pays.
Even the job in the market, how are they paying that job?
Yes.
But what if they'd already mentioned that in the job description?
The salary?
Yeah, the salary range.
Then in that case, if they had already mentioned, you can say something within that range.
Okay.
But then also you can add, you're okay with the range, but you're also open to negotiating based on the kind of benefits that the company offers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because also while negotiating, you can bring in
What benefits do they have?
Yes, you
as
can.
an employee?
Yeah. You can negotiate with even like a hybrid environment. You can negotiate with like a remote dynamic. So there's more to negotiations than salary. Yeah.
There's equities, there's medical covers, there is L&D.
The company equities.
Yeah.
You can negotiate with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Never known that.
Interesting.
You
That's
can.
interesting. It's a new development there.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so let's assume that this is a remote job. I've had this question asked. It's remote and it's a contract, maybe like 2 years. How does this role fit into your long-term career goals?
So currently this is my first job. I am hoping this will be my first job that I get into. So having looked at it and how the job description, it very much aligns with what I want to do for the next 2 years. And also, just from the conversation that we've had, it sounds like a very interesting company to work with. I see myself growing so much into the role. And I am hoping or believing by the time we get to 2 years, my role will have advanced or morphed into something else that would also be beneficial to the company. Yeah.
100.
I don't know. I feel like as though these are things that you need
have
experience.
practiced.
How many interviews have you guys been to?
Like on this side?
Yeah, on
As a
the side,
candidate.
the receiving end, of it, the candidate side of it.
I've been quite. I wouldn't say I wouldn't put a number into it, but I'd say a number.
Range. Let's just give a range. Since uni, how many interviews have you been to? Because I feel like as though it takes time to perfect
It takes
this response.
it takes
It
time,
does,
and
yeah.
also even at this point, I still have to.
Keep on practicing.
Yeah.
and I think also like I get chills because even when I'm in an interview, I think now I am very aware because now I know when they're asking these questions is what they're looking for, which also makes me now more nervous. You get?
Yeah.
Because now if you have more information, you're like, oh God, I messed up. Oh
So you'd
God,
rather
what
pop
did I
in
do?
naturally
Yeah.
without expecting.
Yeah.
Right. You wanna critique her response?
Yes, I would say that was actually an answer I would take as a yes to move forward, because in those 2 years, I believe it's an entry level. From what she said, it's basically an entry level. So I know in those 2 years, if they mean that they want to grow, I know they will have already grown by those 2 years. And sometimes even somebody, when they join a company as interns, even within that 1 year, they're usually promoted. Even with those 6 months, because sometimes even internships don't usually go for an year, depending on the industry or the company. But I know they go for like 6 months. So with those 6 months, this intern has really done a lot, and it really shows you this is somebody who was very serious about what they were doing or what they were looking for. So it grants them space to move into a higher level within those 6 months. Somebody can come, those 6 months, they've already done so much. Automations, integrations, especially for the tech roles. They've introduced systems, they've found a way to probably help a department, export files, import files, automate some processes. So it could get them grow with those 6 months. So even after 6 months, internship is already over, they get a higher role. So it's not just limited to just being an intern, by the way. There's so much growth. But her response is 100% correct.
100%.
I've seen even maternity relievers get absorbed into the company.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Do you know who they are?
Maternity. I'm trying to assume with the limited knowledge that I have. Okay, are they like people who started a job but they took a maternity leave but still got absorbed back into the job?
So what it means basically, it's maternity reliever. It's somebody who is taking over an existing employee who went for their maternity leave. So I went for my maternity leave, and maternity leaves are usually for 3 months. So who is going to do my work by the time for those 3 months that I'm away?
Yeah,
So we'll
the
definitely
reliever.
look for a maternity reliever. So Diana comes in
Okay.
to do my tasks as a maternity reliever for those 3 months. So
Oh, that's the word.
Yeah.
Maternity
Yeah.
reliever.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. So those 3 months, the person will come do my duties, and then of course it's also a chance for you to also showcase yourself as a professional. Do something that this maybe I haven't been able to do. So it also gives you an upper hand to get absorbed into the company, not just doing maternity relief work.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
for that question that I just asked, there was an answer that I gave, and I would love for you to critique it.
Okay.
Yeah, so the role was with a company abroad, and it was with GIS in health. So that's the context. So I talked about using the skills that I will learn to later on improve systems here in Kenya. So it was something to do with diabetes and GIS. So I told them that I'll be able to use the skills from that company and the 2 years of learning to be able to work on the systems that are here in Kenya, because they needed for me to show that I'll come back to Kenya. Is this something that
context?
a lot of people should do, or was it wrong to say that I'll come back? Should I have said that I need to stay in that company?
No. Because I get the context now. Because if they are trying to establish whether you're going to come back, I think your answer was good.
Oh, okay.
Because you're showing them the impact that you're bringing into your community, not just Kenya, but into the community. So you're trying to impact your community from what you'll have learned
Okay.
from them. Yeah. So that's a good answer.
Yeah, I'll be waiting for the email.
All the best.
You shall receive it in Jesus' name.
It will come.
I think time is actually, oh boy. We need to start wrapping up. You asking for breaks in between. Do you still need a break at this point? Exactly my point. Okay, there is also this other part. So, where do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years? They did ask me that as well. In 3 to 5 years.
3 to 5 years, I see myself into if it's a senior role, it's a mid-level role I'm applying for. So I'd say in 3 to 4 years, I'd see myself in growing into a senior level role, because I am confident that I will have already executed my responsibilities and ensured things run smoothly before somebody else comes and fill my position, so that I can take more responsibilities and get more challenges growing into the 3 to 5 years.
So you need to show the aspect of you want to progress as well.
Yeah, you want to, you're not just, what is it? How will I put it? It's like you're not just being stagnant. You are looking, you're showing curiosity and, interest in, being given more challenges. So you've already done the challenges of, this current role. So you want to see what the senior role, or which in the next, those 3 years, what challenges will be there, and you're ready to tackle them. Yeah.
I definitely never blundered there.
What did you say?
Yeah.
What did you say?
Almost something similar.
Yeah.
Almost something similar.
You definitely
I can't
got the
disclose.
job. You
about
get the
it.
job.
But it was a little bit corny there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
Do you wanna critique it?
Yeah, I like that within the 5 years, her response shows that she will still be with the company.
Oh, okay.
Because also something
They
they're
want to see
trying
that
to-
aspect.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
they're trying to see how your career path looks like, and whether you're someone who is going to stay in the company for some time. So I like the fact that it highlighted in her career plans, the company is in it for about 5 years, and also the fact that it shows some growth. There's a growth path that she has in her mind, that she's going to grow into the company, and she's also going to showcase her skills and improve on her skills, so that she can also have someone replace her, and then she'll go into a senior role.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Excellent.
I think before we move, I think
Yes.
it's also important to also mention that you are also willing to upskill. You're not just settling on the skills that you currently have. So you also want the company to support you in terms of learning and development by, before getting into the senior role, how can the company support me to, handle more responsibilities? That's where the company should help you now get into coaching sessions, get trained into managerial roles, things like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to ask probably the final
The last
question?
one. I think I've just run out
Getting
of
hot.
questions. But do you have one for them?
Oh yeah, the last one is usually, do you have any questions for us? That's so generic always. Yeah.
Yeah. And for this one, I would ask, what is the company doing to support its employees to upskill?
Right.
That is one. Then the other question would be, what would be your expectations for me in getting into the role for the first 2 to 3 months?
Yeah. Or how does the current team look like, and how does my profile fit into that team?
Yeah.
Oh, you can ask them that question. How does my profile fit in?
Yeah.
Why did you select me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a candidate who has ever asked me, what did you think of my performance in this interview?
Yeah.
If you're bold enough, you
okay.
can ask that.
Definitely. We'll
You
ask
can even
that.
ask
We'll ask
them,
that. Yeah.
what do you love about working for the company XYZ?
Yeah.
You can ask the recruiter or the HR. They can also now tell
For that
you.
particular company, what they like about it.
Yeah.
That's actually insightful.
Those are good questions.
tips, yeah,
Very, very
for the
good
next
questions. Yeah. Actually, it's very important for candidates to have questions at the end of the interview. So if you're asked now, the interview is over, then the interview is like, do you have any questions for us? Don't say no, you don't have any questions. Just means, it just shows that you're not interested. You don't want to know more about the
Yes.
company, So it's a good opportunity for you to ask about the culture, ask about the benefits. You can even ask them, what do I benefit from the company? Are there any L&D opportunities? Are there any medical covers? And then, ask those important questions, not just, what are usually shady questions?
What is the next process? It's an important question, but it's
6, 7.
Like it doesn't
Yeah.
it doesn't tell me much about you know. Because also like especially if you know the interview process has like the recruitment process has different interview stages, you can also try to ask questions that help you prepare for the next interview.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
I don't know where the both of you have been in my life since uni. Where have you been hiding under wardrobe? We've both been going through a lot. These streets are so murky, trust me. Very dangerous.
I know.
But yeah.
I've been on the other side, so I know.
Been ghosted. We've also been ghosted.
Many times.
Many times.
No responses. You just send
Even
emails.
following up, nothing.
Yeah.
That sucks actually.
It does.
I usually think
It
it's worse than having the rejection email.
Yeah.
It is. Because
The
you don't know.
silence.
Oh yeah.
Because you don't know how you performed. I mean, getting an unfortunately is better than silence.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, because you also need to move on. If it's a yes, if it's a no, I need to know so that I can move on with my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't get that.
Yeah. And also the good thing also, there is something that a friend of mine did. His name is, okay, I'll use the euphemism that he usually likes referring to himself, PXE. He rejected the rejection email.
I think I saw that.
He actually did himself. I think he probably saw someone reject, then he also did
They also did
the same
that,
thing,
yeah.
just for fun.
I'm amazed by how you reject.
But unfortunately, I reject your rejection.
Yes, I respect your rejection.
But I've also
After
seen-
much consideration.
Yeah.
I have an acquaintance or an ex-colleague who they didn't necessarily reject the rejection, but they kind of had like a counter argument to the rejection. And like 3 months down the line, they were called for a different role in the same organization.
They did what again?
You see like how you can get like feedback in terms
Yeah.
of we're rejecting you because we got better qualified candidates, blah blah blah. Like she went ahead and said, okay, it's unfortunate, blah blah.
I'd like to know
But
why.
again, no. She just like highlighted the kind of skills and experience she can bring into the company. So she identified. I think it was proper timing because she identified one of the problems, the challenges the company was going through. So she sort of sold herself in the rejection in terms of how her experience is going to solve that problem. Yeah, it was randomly called like 3 months later.
Yeah, and I think also in terms of that, still even after the interviews, we usually encourage candidates to do follow-ups. Like the interview is over, do a follow-up thanking the panelists. Just it was an insightful conversations we had, and I still remain interested in the role, and I definitely look forward to hearing what the next steps are. So it's important to do like a follow-up email.
Yes.
Just
Giving me
maintain
an idea.
communication.
I'm gonna report something.
You should because
should,
you're going to stand out.
Yeah.
I think also she mentioned following up, and I just got some other thought in terms of networking, because these days like there's very many people applying, so you need to like go a step further to put yourself out there. So go for networking events, meet people, do stuff basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Like volunteer and stuff.
Yes.
Wow. Right, okay, so this is the part where we draw the curtains. Any other question that you might be having?
Yeah, I do have one.
Yeah.
I really need one. Okay, in terms of cold emails or cold approaches, what do you think about that? Because I feel like in the current job market, most of us are forced to email companies, HRs. They have their emails right there to ask for the role, right?
Yeah.
How can we put ourselves like forward so that your cold email is not just rejected?
Yeah. So I would say one of the solutions to that, I'd say maybe contact, like don't go directly to the HR. I'd say one of the solutions is find someone in the organization who's probably like a manager. Like probably who's a manager, because their DMs are not full of applications. So the probability that they're going to read it is higher than if you reach out directly to HR. Yeah, so that's one of the ways you can go about it.
So in short, you're saying nobody ever opens those emails? No,
No. We open. I open mine. I open mine, but I'm also just trying to, the probability that your email is going to be open. But also, you see, like also at the end of the day, HR is working with the hiring managers' needs. So even like the recruitment needs come from the hiring managers who are the managers in these companies. So if you're able to reach them directly and say your timing is proper and they are currently maybe looking for someone with your skill set, you see, like you're in a better position to actually get a chance to speak to them than like when you come to HR. Because now if you come to me, probably, and I'm not hiring for that position, my response will be, I'm not hiring for that position. But if you go to the manager, especially if you find the manager of the particular role or field you're in, and they have that particular role, or they have been thinking about hiring for the role, like you have a better chance to get into the company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hiring managers have insights into their hiring needs, so you might actually be lucky in DMing them, and they'll be like, yeah, this is something with the problem that we've been having. So yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's basically it. What can I say? There's a lot that has already been shared here that I wouldn't mind even repeating it. I mean, if you want to do it, just go ahead. If you want to maybe be as good as they are, go ahead and practice it. Maybe be a cat mom. Just do something that's going to help you be outstanding out there, okay? But I really, really appreciate that you've stuck with us all the way through to the end. And up until the next episode again, I've been your host, Linus and AnnStella. And yeah, let the guests say goodbye at this point. Just say hi, bye, or something. Or you want to say in unison? Let's do it. In 3, 2, 1, bye. All right. Oh, anything else? All right. Let's
Conclusions?
Okay, just a conclusion. Quick one.
I think for me is to the candidates, or actually people who are in their early careers. So have especially tech roles, if you have a portfolio, we have GitHub, we have Stack Overflows to present your projects. So it's not just about resume. Also, it's a good way to showcase your projects. So register yourself into GitHub, all those platforms that allow you to showcase your portfolio, have them. So yeah, with the resume as well, ensure your resume is also updated. We usually check into these things within 3 to 10 seconds. You already know if you are eligible to move forward. But yeah, have everything ready. You got this. Confidence, number one for everything. Confidence is always everything, especially when you go to interviews. It actually shows me as a HR that you really know what you're doing as a professional, and it gets you the job. So all the best to everyone looking for the role.
Yeah, that's
Dan,
it.
quick one.
I think just to add, it's something I had said earlier, but just remember, the moment you walk into an interview room, the hiring manager or the recruiter is actually hoping that you're the candidate. So your work there is to just show them that you're the candidate. And in the event it's a rejection, also just remember it's not a rejection to your value. Like it doesn't state that your value is any less or your experience is any less. It's just a mismatch for the particular role. It's not you as the person, it's the role that's a mismatch.
Mm-hmm. You receive one rejection, 10 more applications.
Yes, just learn from the rejections.
Yeah.
It
Beloved
has been
co-host,
so
yeah.
much.
Yeah.
It has been fun
Yeah.
to listen to the other end of what happens when we send our CVs. And I've learned a lot. I'm sure my next application, maybe in the next few minutes, will be much more efficient than what we have been doing before. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm glad and I'm happy to have learned from you.
Okay.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Until next time, have a good one.
Bye.
This is the GeoHabari Podcast.